the Late Night Show with Jordan Ferris. Tonight's topic is about the controversial DeVos nomination and what she's been up to. Tonight on my show, we'll be having two senators representing each party, Melina and Miranda Matthews.
Thanks for having us tonight, Jordan.
Yeah, we're so excited to be here.
It's my pleasure, guys. Can you tell us a little bit about the whole nomination?
Sure. Well, on November 23rd, 2016, Trump formally announced that he had nominated DeVos to be Secretary of Education, and from the beginning, people had opposed her nomination.
I mean, on January 17th, before her hearing, she said that guns belong in schools to protect against grizzly bears.
Well, yes, but I think the main reason people oppose her because as a conservative, she supports school vouchers and school choice, which of course is not popular with the Democrats, making them believe that she could be dangerous. And many senators question her dedication to ensure protection of public schools, primarily because she enrolled her own kids in private schooling.
Melina, can you tell me about the actual confirmation?
Well, during the confirmation, there were two sets of votes in committee, which is where it all starts. However, Orangey Hatch was not there for the first vote, causing the teacher union and liberals to protest for another vote. The Democrats tried to delay the vote so that they could convince more people to vote against her. 12 Republican senators in the committee voted for her, whereas 11 Democrats voted against her, claiming she was dangerous.
Now, this really is a great example of how our government has become very polarized. The party polarization is worsening throughout years, and this nomination made it worse.
Moving on to the floor, since there is a Republican majority, the vote should have gone in her favor fairly quickly. However, Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine did not vote within party lines, causing there to be grassroots. Collins claimed that she had heard many concerns from school teachers and other educational workers, saying that they did not want DeVos to be confirmed. Both of their votes had been influenced by constituents, which means that their constituents did not want DeVos to be confirmed, and they had held town halls and expressed their concerns about her. Since these Republicans listened to their constituents, it caused there to be a 50-50 tie, thus causing Vice President Pence to break the tie.
If you didn't know already, written in the Constitution, the Vice President is the President of the Senate. His power is to be a tiebreaker, which is what happened here. So now that she has been confirmed, what has she been up to?
Well, DeVos visited the Bethune-Cookman University, a historically African-American college, to give a commencement speech to the upcoming graduates. During her speech there, she had been shouted and booed at. However, her reaction continues to be positive and claims to advocate for all students. But more recently, there has been more uproar in another school, East Hartford High School in Connecticut, where DeVos criticized their dangerous community and thus causing many different teacher unions coming outside of their school to rally.
Now, we do have a video clip of that, so let's take a look at that.
Dr. Jackson, Board of Trustees, thank you so very, very much for this great honor and privilege. I am honored to become what I am. And it's a real honor and privilege to be with you as we celebrate the Bethune-Cookman University class of 2017. Is the ability to converse with and learn from those with whom we disagree.
Now, can we talk about the $10.6 billion cut from public education? I don't understand how someone who says she is an advocate for all students can be okay with taking out so much money from public education.
Well, the budget proposal wouldn't just cut $10.6 billion. It would reinvest $1.4 billion into promoting for school choice. DeVos also claims that the states should have the majority of the control with the money.
Okay, but DeVos has tried bankrolling with school vouchers that would take away money from public institutions, and she has a history of undermining public schools.
I think we all can agree that she's got a lot of work ahead of her.
Well, this leads us into our new segment called What's Happening Now? On May 24th, there was a hearing where she was asked about how she would feel about giving federal jobs to private schools that discriminated against the LGBTQ+ community. She quickly sidestepped the question, saying that the choice falls on the parents about where they go to school, and that too many children are trapped in schools that don't work for them. She was eventually asked about what she would do if instead of a homosexual being denied acceptance, it was an African American. She then avoided the question and gave the same response that the control is up to the states, not her. The Lighthouse Christian Academy currently receives $665,000 in school vouchers, and I've made it clear to everyone that if you come from a homosexual family, are homosexual, or are struggling with gender identity, you will not be accepted into the school. The federal government is completely aware that they are discriminated against the LGBT community. However, there is nothing being done to stop this. During the hearing, she was repeatedly asked if she would defend these students and what she would do about it, or if there's a line on state flexibility. DeVos then brought up Title IX protections and what she would do and how she would apply them. So basically, DeVos never answered the questions and has no true resolution to this problem. And that concludes our What's Happening Now.
Okay. With all of these discrimination problems in private schools, how do you think we could solve these issues?
Categorical grants. We could stop giving federal dollars to these schools so they could have to start accepting homosexuals and people with disabilities.
Without the money, these schools would not be able to function. So by cutting off their finances, we can get them to do what we want.
And with the budget, what would we do about that?
One thing to do is to reduce the amount of funding from Congress that is being cut from public school education. Congress does ultimately have the power of the purse, which means that although the president sets the budget for each department, in this case the education budget, Congress has the choice to approve it. The budget has the chance of not being passed.
Which would limit her authority to transfer funding to voucher programs.
Well, thanks for coming. See you next time on Late Night with Farrah.